Bumelelo, 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 bumelelo.
Okay, yes, greetings everybody. This is the Art Lexia podcast. This is episode 97. It is the late November, which is the best time of the year for me. Summer, you know, we love summer. We're African people, we love skin, we love seeing people getting out of it. So I think it's the best time of the year. Just a few other things to last week's episode over Jongwe. Thanks for coming through, my brother. I think his episode went pretty well. You know, it was a bit dodgy when we recorded it because of all the break-ins and stuff, but I think it went pretty well. So thanks, my king, for coming through for that. We did want to feature more artwork in the episode, and we will be doing that in the future. But with all this bullshit that was happening around, it just wasn't possible. Okay, man. I always forget, man. Like, yeah, please like, subscribe, comment. What's the other thing? Subscribe, like, comment. The Art Lexia podcast. It's on YouTube. Yeah, and we're on Patreon. So if you want to give us money, please, Patreon. It is end of the year, so if you want to give us money, now is the perfect time to do that. Yeah, also a lot of energy today, man. We really got a really cool guest today. We really look forward to that. Siza will introduce the sister Khethi, all the way from Reunion. Which is so far, I just want to make one point. We spoke about it offline. Why the fuck is it possible that, like, if we do recording to any township in South Africa, the connection is pathetic? It's poor. Look at all this ocean between us and everything is perfect. What the hell, man? So I had to put that out there right in the beginning, so everybody listens to it will hear that. Like, we need to fix that thing over there. Like, this is like we're living in an age now where remote working is the form of, especially in the creative industry. So we need to fix that because we have lots of work to do and we're doing cool stuff. So Siza, I know you've been really busy marking and finishing up the year and all of that.
Yeah, it's been a long week. It's been a really, really long week. A lot is happening, but I'm excited about this episode and welcome Sis Khethi Ntshangase. I mean, she's a poet, a musician, and the managing director of Campaign Africa. Sis, welcome to the Art Lexia. How have you been? And, you know, how have you been actually since after our Hapo Zamani conference? You know, celebrating the 58th anniversary speech of Mama Miriam. And it was during COVID. How have you been since COVID?
Well, apparently I have better network. In the dot in the middle of the ocean, we apparently have better network. But it's good to see you again. It's good to reconnect. You know, the family we run. You know, trying to go Dallas Gula, even with Wes, and Mr. Visual Artist, and I need to just probe him about that because I think there's a lot of work even on the visual artist space that I would like to engage him further on.
Dope, man. But we can definitely go there.
Nice one. But yes, it's been an interesting journey trying to just adjust post-COVID, trying to work out the best ways to work remotely. My heart is definitely still on the continent and there's a lot of work to be done. And I feel that being out here also gives an interesting perspective on the continent. Because then I'm looking at Madagascar and then the continent and how do we now, my biggest passion has always been about intercontinental travel and about Africa tour circuit. So from this standpoint, I'm looking at the continent in a different perspective and seeing how we can interweave. And that's exciting. And challenging.
Khethi, can you just explain to our listeners exactly where you're based and where exactly is Reunion for those guys who don't know where the island is based? Can you just explain from, I'm not saying give directions, but just explain.
I have a way. I had to find a way because people don't. Yeah, I've never heard of it. What are you talking about? So I am east of Madagascar, but southwest of Mauritius. So I'm between Madagascar and Mauritius, in a dot that is most times on most maps missed. But we are just bigger than Mauritius. But yeah, that's politics. But yes, and we are not African. Hey,
You're not?
there's another.
What
What do you mean?
No,
Yeah.
this is a department of France.
Oh.
That's why I have better network.
There you go. There you have it.
Yeah, the French.
This is the province of France. This is owned administration. This is nationally. We go and vote when France goes and well, not we, because I'm a foreign national, so I have all the rights except to vote. But yes, this is France.
Oh.
We can and trust me, we've had many arguments about this with the people locally.
So they're technically still a colony of France, is what you say?
No. It's not a colony. It's a province.
A province. Imagine.
Wow.
It's a Northern Cape, like whatever.
There we go. Yes. There we go.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a few of them. There's a few islands like this. There's two this side. The other one that's closest to us is Mayotte, which is the sister to the Comores. So yeah, this side there's Mayotte and Reunion Island, and then it's like the Pacifics and by the Indies as well, by the Americas over there. But yeah, they are considered to be the country France. Just they're called overseas departments.
Shit, overseas department.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit of a colonialist like language there.
That's crazy. But at least their sun is great because your skin is looking amazing. So, and the network is great.
Okay, God's nature's sun. Okay, we are still it's the African sun that I'm still beaming from. And thank you. Yes, sitting in the tropics.
No, for sure, man. And just back to your work, Sis Khethi, I mean, Campaign Africa, it sounds like, even the name, even how it looks on paper, and obviously its ideas. I know I was a part of it earlier this year to talk about Africa Day and the fact that we don't even recognize it as a public holiday in South Africa. And yeah, can you tell us about that and how is it going? Are people getting the unity message, or are we?
Well, and it really, that is the central element of it, the unity element of it. We are campaigning for Africa and African driven entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurs and African matters and African issues that need to be brought forward. So as a concept, ideally it is to create synchronized events that bring the continent together. It is sad to realize that it is not now. It was 12 of the 54 countries actually stop and celebrate the Africa Day. We know that it was the AU had themed May month to be Africa month, but and then there are programs that exist within that space, but there wasn't the day itself kind of it fell off as the significant day where everybody kind of stops and this is what we are celebrating. So it's programming for Africa Month. That's one of our main campaigns. Synchronized programming, in fact. And then we also recognize that the role with the high levels of unemployment on the continent as it is, and governments seeming to fumble and not really having effective ways of mobilizing the young people, social enterprises are the way that we are going to save ourselves. Entrepreneurship, and particularly social entrepreneurship, is the answer. And so as Campaign Africa, we want to get behind social enterprises, and we're welcoming them to use our platform, campaignafrica.org, as another way of advertising, as another way of promoting, as a hub where we can merge the cultural and creative industry, the social enterprise, and the private sector together. How do we work, create, mobilize for their campaigns to actually be beneficial to the communities that they serve? And so that is the online directory that we're wanting to put together. So it's programming, artistic programming, which involves the cultural and creative industry. It is the social entities that enterprises as in a form of a directory. But in all of this, we want to record this whole process and then annually create a 6-part docuseries that we air during the month of May. So it's very ambitious. People say, whoa, there are too many moving pieces, Khethi, what's going on? But this is really our passion, and we are campaigning for Africans. And right now, you got to do it big, otherwise go home. Africa needs to have high impact projects on board.
Super interesting stuff you were saying there. Just to the fact that you're trying to sort of bring together social entrepreneurship artists, and you say the private sector. That's dope. Like I think in South Africa, I mean, given that you're from here, that there's a lot of social entrepreneurs in the arts. Actually, quite a few. Actually, we spoke to a few on this very platform. In fact. When and various different like in the crafts, visual arts, etc. We also spoke to an interesting brother earlier on this year from Lesotho, who's doing also working on some very interesting projects in documenting or read what is that? I'm not sure what the right word is, but cultural everything in Lesotho. So they're digitizing everything, and they're putting it, creating a digital version of it, which I thought was also super interesting. So yeah, man, can you just tell our listeners? Okay, so when you say just for definition, because the definition of social entrepreneurship is, I think it's still a bit.
It's still.
Yeah. Explain to us, what do you mean when you?
What do you mean?
What is social entrepreneurship according to Campaign Africa? What constitutes a social entrepreneur, basically?
That benefits obviously the person doing it, but whose main goal is to benefit the communities around them. Of course, you've got to be, if you're going to put in the time, you have to make a level of profit for you to so you're not an NGO or a non-profit. So you're making a level of profit, but your main objective or your main drive is about changing the communities around you. So creating that enterprise means whether it's like a community garden, right? Where the food that you're servicing not only provides less expensive food for your community, organic food for your community, but you're also giving the people around you a level of employment, and it is in the Zulu of things. So you're doing things for yourself, and also just breaking away from this restlessness. So social entrepreneurship is ideal. You're now forcing me to go and find, and they ought to be like the clinical definition of it. But for us, it is about community development. It is about skills training. It is about engaging young people, because we are in this decay that we are in because it is literally the lack of engagement. They just don't know what to do. They don't have a plan. They don't have the dedication to implement these plans and support them through, because it's not going to be an easy fix either, So it needs the patience, it needs the long-term vision, and the care for young people in our future. So for me, social entrepreneurship entrepreneurs are people that are not doing it just for their pockets, but their goal is to benefit the community.
Yeah, 100%. It reminds me also of the Don Tatizel festival place in Soweto.
Yeah.
In concept. Yo, that is wonderful work, Sis Khethi. And I'm looking at you. You know, I think you have the spirit of Mom Sibongile Khumalo. I can't. I keep getting that vibe. Nkosi, you remind me of Sibongile Khumalo. Bless you, child. Oh, but I mean, but you still sing, do you still perform music in the islands? And how's the youth there? How's the youth in the islands, man? Do they still play?
This island has taught me a lot. A lot about family structures, the importance of them, and not because it is a perfect environment. It's very matriarch in this place. Families aren't together, but I've never seen a stronger male presence in parenting.
Oh,
they take it up very seriously, the guys. You know, this is the even if we're separated, and a lot of them are separated, but they are present as fathers. The children are finding a balance, you know, and I commend them for that. But the mother is the head of the home. Everything revolves around the mother. You know, we have Christmas and New Year's and all the birthdays. I mean, I can't plan. Everything must first we go to mom. You know, it's mom's house first before we can go and do anything else. There's a central point like this. Unemployment is also an issue, but also I'm watching what grants can do, right? Or how grants can serve an economy. This is a contentious conversation because for those who work, it's like, why are they getting free money? But if you can just, this as a case study, this place is small. This place doesn't have, there's not enough jobs. That's also a thing in South Africa. There's not enough jobs for the people that are here. This is just the reality of things, right? Jobs also, we need to understand the history of jobs are a preoccupation, right? And then somebody just decided to maximize on it. Hence, then we had slavery and all of those things. But the nature of the human is not about sitting and doing jobs. And those who don't work are covered. First of all, you get housing subsidy, but also you get so you see what their SASA is doing. And for me, I'm learning a lot, and it feels like I'm here to learn so that when South Africa is in fact in a position where it is ready to reconstruct, we have the research of models that we can apply, what works and what doesn't work, you know. So
that's interesting.
Yes, and the youth of here. The nice thing is that, you know, aesthetically also these people are pretty young. Which makes
yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
You're like, all right, next time I'm coming.
Oh yeah. I wanted to ask you I'm making a follow-up question when you're saying about the model that you sort of like the research you're doing on what works and what doesn't work. I know, like you said, in South Africa, I know unemployment is ridiculous, especially amongst the youth, but we all know that. But to just bring it closer to home into our industry, to the arts, you know, COVID has given our industry like a pretty hard knock, especially those who are not signed by either publisher, gallery, etc. It's taken guys sort of outside that really it took a knock. So how are Ahmed, I think Ahmed, let me maybe just ask and then you just see how you answer it. So if we're 3 years into the pandemic, Campaign Africa, as far as it's been working for some time now. What have you learned? Before that, how long has Campaign Africa been running? Let me get that sequence right first.
Right. So Campaign Africa is a baby as an institution. We managed, like, the concept was November 2001. I registered it formally in May 2022. But I'm coming from my company in South Africa called the Elevators Creative Concepts, which is launched in 2020, registered in 2013, but as old as 2003 is the movement of the poetry and the music and the traveling of the continent and doing the research really that has informed Campaign Africa now. And so and even being here, the first time I came here was for, there's a big festival called Sakifo that is at the back of it. The week before Sakifo is a music market called Indian Ocean Music Market. It's called IOMA. And so in South Africa, I was I was in the exco for Moshito. And Moshito was a partner as a conference, an annual conference entity, was a partner with IOMA. And so we brought to Reunion Island in 2015 the delegation of tourism and from KwaZulu-Natal as well in to participate at that conference at that time. And that was the first time I was here. And so one has applied a lot of background and will have to rely on a lot of the networks that one has built from 2003, which is what I was saying that I wanted to highlight in our conversation, that we tend to work in silos. And I forget that, I'm stuck here going, I have this brilliant idea about an animation. Maybe it could start as a book and then it could grow into like a movie. Why not? But I need someone who can draw. Because I don't know how to draw. Who's going to draw my giraffe and my, like this? But I don't, and I'm not connecting that I know Wes, and Wes, this is his world. He gets this. And, or I'm thinking, I need money before I can get to that part. These are all the processes that we, I know we want to get into, but also we make them very hard for ourselves. Or perhaps COVID our brains got a bit mashed, that we're not connecting the dots, but in fact we are rich. Part of my time in Johannesburg has been about networking, building relationships. We know a heck of a lot of very skilled people, a diverse number of skilled people, that this shouldn't be difficult. Yeah. But we are having it difficult because there was that boom, boom of COVID, where we felt that it feels like we had a reset and we were left with alone, and we were disconnected from all of that which we've in fact built on. So I'm happy we are in conversation like this, because it's an awakening for me too, to understand I'm not alone, actually. And I'm not this idea of Campaign Africa is also is great, but there's a lot of people who understand it, who appreciate it, who are willing to pull together to make it happen.
Yeah, because just talking about that, I wanted to find out who are you working with the Campaign Africa, who's supporting the institution?
Right. At this point, as a consortium, I've teamed up with, there's three of us. There's three entities involved in the initial coil, because then this is a basket that needs to involve a lot of people. But this initial coil is South Africa, which is myself, Botswana, with a company called Seed Pod Capital, and she helps with business communication and governance. And then in Ghana, we have Yasmin, who runs Africa Global Radio, and she's our media partner. So she's a production house, and we've got the business and communications, and it's me with the creative concept. And but we recognize that we definitely need to spread, and especially because on our first initial phase, which is the first 5 years, we want to include 5 countries. So that's South Africa. In sequence is Ghana, Botswana, Tanzania, Namibia, South Africa.
Wow.
Those are the 5 countries that we want to really work with in the first 5 years.
That's cool. That actually cuts across most of the continent.
Each country, and pardon me, and so in each country we'll need a team, right? If we need a proper a media house and some counterparts for us to be able to activate strongly, effectively.
Interesting. I was gonna ask. So with all the all the traveling and work you've been doing and research, like you say you were doing, what what actions, what did you learn? Like what do you think will work, man? What do you how basically how is Campaign Africa going to get started? You say it's still young, still getting off the ground. I think we can talk about the campaigns a bit later, the actual work. But how are you guys going to start off the ground, man? Where you start off with, were you focusing on, that type of thing? Since you are all over the continent, really cool. I'm sure the communication must also be you must have pretty good communication skills as well. Even though you're talking with many countries and many languages, so I'm sure that's also a very good skill to have. Khethi, moving forward, man, any other guys are working with projects, etc., 2023 and above and beyond?
2023 is the 60th anniversary of the Organization of African Unity, which is why we wanted to use as a launch pad for Campaign Africa's annual activations. And we start, as we said, then it's a coil of a small circle that spreads out. Ideally, we need ambassadors. We need people who believe in the cause, who are going to participate and speak to the three questions that we have put across, which are that Siza was a participant in for this year's campaign. The question was, what is an African? Why are there only 12 of the 54 countries that are participating as a public holiday? And what is our responsibility? What's your responsibility to the continent as an African on the continent and in the diaspora? So to get as many people having this conversation as possible is certainly one way. The other one was the pilot show, which we package it with our proposals. I've never written so many proposals in my life, whereas it's a bit normal here. But that's it, like targeting banks, targeting African Union, targeting African-based companies. And it's interesting, this conversation where it went with technology and what we've been told about it, while the East and the Norwegians were busy fine-tuning technology, and now we are left as consumers, because then we have platforms that are for African content, but where are they paying their taxes? China, Sweden, it's not ours. And so we really, part of campaigning for Africa, and partly why we said we want to launch in Ghana. Ghana is the big brother of Africa, as Ghana first being the first to find its independence. But also there's incredible technology in Ghana. There's a braveness about, they take on, they're making cars, they're making motorcycles, the technology element, the engineers in the West Africa belt are not scared of inventing, so in this, if you're going to say you are doing skills development for young people, you need to be able to offer them a platter of various things where they can find themselves, because that's the other mission. Like, what is your skill set? Beyond just wanting to play soccer or doing what is in the trend at the moment. But who are you, and what is it that you have to offer? We want to discover the continent, because we are rich. This is one thing that we really need to understand. Within our diversity and in our adversities and in our poverty of $350 a month, in fact, there's a lot of skill that we just need to unpack out of you. We're not going to force you into corners, So anyway, so let me not get too passionate about that. So skills development, finding out our technological aspirations, also researching what was ours, because that's the other thing. We don't want to emulate. We need to come with our own unique sense of our own branding and our own way of procedure that is based on the continent's uniqueness. So Ghana first, then into Botswana, then into Tanzania, in the next 5 years, into Namibia, and then South Africa. And I'm doing it in this order, particularly. Firstly, in the year, every year, it starts, it's a Programming for Africa month, but the first episode is on the 27th of April.
Yeah.
27th of April, marking our Independence Day.
Freedom Day.
Let's talk about that. And 27 years of wow. But also, come the 5th year, it will be 2027. And we want to bring it to South Africa at 2027. And the idea also is that we want to fine-tune it in the next 5 years, that by the time it comes to South Africa with all its resources and its firstly, South Africans tend to just say, we don't know. Yes, we always get, we don't know. Is it going to really work? Khethi, they're quick to break it down, right? So I've got to go and prove it for the next 4 years before I can bring it home and say, this is in fact what we're wanting to create, moving us forward. South Africa, infrastructure-wise, is definitely one of the richest ones of the 5 that we have picked. And so we want it spectacular, and we want to make spectacular at home, so that also South Africa understands its value to the continent. Beyond just, we were better colonized. That's another debate. Really, the role that it has to play in affecting the progress of the continent at large. So that's, and then, so what have I said? I've said we want ambassadors. We are picking Ghana for the technology to come and encourage the engagement with the young people. We are having this 5-year step. And so we definitely need buy-in, but we're seeking the buy-in from the corporates. But there was a time not long ago, and I just thought, we are so rich, when we have a network of the cultural and within the cultural and creative industry, of people with pure talent who can actually, can we do this away from the big bank or the big the telecom companies? Can it be an African thing? Because I'm worried about asking the British for money or the Chinese. Sorry, no offense to them, but if I'm saying I'm campaigning for Africa, can it be, in fact, can I not be speaking to, at least if it's coming from outside of the continent, can it not be coming from our brothers and sisters in the diaspora who have successful formulas that they're implementing over there, doing great work? Can it not be them to come and power campaigning for Africa?
That's a good point. That's a good
point. But it needs buy-in. It needs buy-in from us. Who are going to say, okay, we understand it, we own it.
Yeah.
Those are the things that just one more thing. It's a philosophy company. There's our brother Vusi Tembegwayo will tell you there's different kinds of companies. This one is a philosophy company. So it's one to make impact and change for the continent at large, as opposed to oranges for the banana for the thing. And then those are normally then the hardest ones to implement anyway. Those are idealistic. That's me being so Pan-African, me being Miss KZN from KZN, born on 25th of May, Africa Day, on the theme of open skies for Africa. That is I come with a freaking heavy mandate. The day I was born, the theme for the year was open skies for Africa.
Hey.
Anyway.
Khethi, this is healing work. This is healing work that you're doing, especially because in the core of it, I get it's about coming back to the center, seeing ourselves, Siza, and then and grow and build, because that's our world, man, and everybody's taking from us and making themselves rich with what we have, with our pain and our stories. And so thank you for the healing work that you do. And you said that if our listeners would like to be part of this, they can go to campaignafrica.org, right?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
And they can reach you. So how can we also connect with you guys?
Well, there's all at campaignafrica.org, all encompassing, all at campaignafrica.org, or Khethi at campaignafrica.org. Otherwise, on the social media handles, generally it's at Campaign Africa. Some have an underscore and some don't, but I'm sure once you've typed it out, it will pop up there with the logo.
Khethi, I just have something for you, my sister, which I think you can just have a look at. You were talking about developing or working with African stakeholders. These guys that I'm in partnership with developing the app, MLab. Check them out, eh? Okay, their funding also comes from a bunch of Europeans and all over. I'm not even sure who all of us giving them money, but they work. I've pitched them an idea, and they're funding it and they're developing the thing for me. And they're all black. It's not what I don't want to sound like they're that crass, but it is all young, very talented African black brothers from across the country. So everybody works remotely. Which is great. These guys, what we are trying to do there actually speaks directly to what you're doing, because what we are doing, we said with the podcast here, we're building the online community and keeping them informed constantly and providing them with content like yours. This week will be yours, and so the app will be the commercial venture like that. So we're starting off just with visual art. So we want this thing to be more video based, but we're going to be releasing it in stages. So the first phase is really basic, so it'll fit on any 3G phone, and then it will start developing. But we want to keep it more video. So in other words, each artist, if you want to talk to whatever artist, you go into their room or their page, and it's video. And then in the future, just snap on your headset, and then you can have a live, not live, or some form of AI version of the artist, but have that conversation with them. And if you want to watch them perform, you just click on another link and you go into another room and you watch them perform. And everything is, we want guys to be paid. So what is beautiful about what you is about what you're saying. In season, I was talking about this off air, is how like just something that just come together. In such a beautiful way, because we spoke to a whole host of very cool entrepreneurs on this platform and artists who I know will be very interested in what you are saying. It's beautiful. It's it's coming towards the end of the year. There's all this bullshit that happened this year, but there's some things that's just working out. Like it's just working out, and like I'm even. I'm like, wow, like I love for things like this. So on your own time, and if you just check out MLab as in letter M, Lab as in LAB, they're on Twitter and on LinkedIn. You can find them there. And we'll definitely keep you up to speed with what's happening with the development of the technology. We'll be busy testing it on other devices now. Apparently, like the iOS version is not ready, but that's another technical thing. So if you got an Android phone, iOS is Apple. Is an Apple. Right. Yeah. So, man, I don't want to get lost in all these technical things, but like we are testing, and it's really like what we try to develop technology of exactly what you are saying, except that ours is not a company. It's a tech company, and it's not a social entrepreneur company. This is capitalism.
That's a question. Let me. How long does it take to develop an app?
This thing has been going on the whole year. One of the major challenges this year was load shedding, because everyone works remotely. So when the load shedding has gotten worse to the latter part of the year, especially September, October, thereabout. Like it's been nightmarish. Even on this platform, we were recording and then lights go out, and then there's no lights. So a lot of that bullshit has improved, but like it's taken the whole year just to develop one phase. Also because like the funds allocated to my project is not. I'm no. But that's why we need people like yourself and then others, so we can build this huge ass community. So when the first phase goes live, goes on the Play Store, then that's what I'm especially working towards. I'm sure this first phase project took that long because and I'm trying to convince people, developers who don't have shit to do with art, to be passionate about art, and we all know that's not that easy. But like it's getting there. So it's beautiful how everything are coming together. So yeah, man. Yeah,
it's a reassurance. I've been feeling like I'm literally and figuratively a bit on an island, you know, and like my partners of one over there, and I'm like, but I know so many people in between. What's going on? And everybody really has been preoccupied, you know, with their own lives and trying to find balance. And we are really also still amidst uncertain times. We are coming out of COVID. There's this recession, apparently, that is, well, yes. We feel it. That is hanging over us. So there's a greater levels of uncertainty, even trying to source funding. It's a bit of a tricky one because people are not sure how to make their financial decisions because they're not sure what happens 6 months from now. That's just the reality of
it is.
The situation at hand. But it's also then has left us isolated, you know, and we felt a lot of stress and alone. So this is like healthy.
That's what's so cool about the technology is that it's connecting us. That's why we need African programmers to write our own code. We need African developers to write our own software, apps and stuff like that. We're tired of China. I mean, I've got no disrespect to anybody from Asia or from America, but we're tired of, you know, we want our own. We want to manage our own. We're tired of selling our resources as an artist to make money. I have to jump on a plane and fly to the UK and go and beg them for money. And that's not happening. Yeah. That's not happening anymore. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. At least not from who we are connected with. Fuck that.
Please call it.
No, so yeah, man, that's just this was a great episode. So thanks for coming through, man. Yeah, Siza.
So guys, we thank you for your time and your wisdom.
Thank you so much.
And the work that you do, you know, the love that you show to the Black community, we're giving it right back to you. Yeah, we support everything we do. Wish you love and light. Yeah, man. And yeah, September. Keep well. Yeah.
One love, my sister. One love. One love. One love.
Like, oh, one love, sis.
Thank you. Khethi Ntshangase.
Siyabonga.
Shop.